maybe this is a good segue into who's not available on Sunday. But with who's not available and a strong Kansas City team who knows who they are, has everybody coming back, and is all set, we're in trouble on Sunday.
Yeah, we are. And you and I talked about it before the podcast. Like, let's go from the back to the front. Who's available? Or who might be available?
So we know that Alan Franco is not available. He got red carded stupidly in the last 5-10 minutes of the New York City FC playoff game for no reason. Just lost his head. So he's out. Now, obviously, George Campbell fits right in there. And Miles Robinson will be sitting next to him. So Gutman is available on the left. It's very unclear whether Brooks Lennon is available or not. He hasn't played, basically, in the preseason. But even if he's not, Ronald Hernandez is. Yeah. So backline goalkeeping, pretty good. Although you'd be happier probably with Alan Franco, who was great down the stretch. George Campbell opening day. Is it too much to ask for a young guy like that? Who knows?
Yeah. So in front of them, we don't have Sosa, right? He's
yes,
getting his green card.
Yeah, he's in Argentina and is not expected back, right? So no.
So who's slotting in?
I mean, I would assume that we're going to see the Osvaldo Alonso, right, in his debut. I imagine that he's going to be starting. And to be fair, if you're going to have a guy who has to slot in for for Sosa on opening day, this is a huge MLS veteran. He's been doing it for years. He's old. He's 36, but opening day he's got to be fresh, right? So
So that's your bet. Not Amer Sadiq.
No.
Sedek? No.
No.
Not Hyman.
No.
Okay. Because Hyman also has a little bit of that defensive pedigree, right?
Yeah, he can do some defensively.
But he's coming off an ACL, so I agree. It's going to be the vet. Yeah. All right. So now, who do we have in front there? We got Rossetto.
Rossetto is almost guaranteed to start for sure. He started everything in the preseason. He's settled really well. He was great down the stretch, and you got to imagine he's the starter.
I'm with you.
For sure. He's the starter if everybody is healthy, probably.
Now, we talked about it earlier. Almada's up in the air. We don't know if he's got a visa or not, but at this point, it feels pretty unlikely he's going to be starting.
I heard that the rumors is that he's going to make it and that Almada is available. Now, whether he's going to start or not, I don't know. But he did start in the preseason games. Yeah. And if it goes through.
Do you start him, though?
Who else are you going to start?
I don't know. He's a superstar. Shouldn't be afraid of the spotlight.
Because the other thing is, I don't think Moreno is available. So if Moreno is available, then you say, well, for sure, Moreno starts, no matter what. But he hasn't played basically at all. Now, maybe they may have been being really careful with him. I mean, he did travel to Mexico. He's been with the team. I believe he's been training at some level. So they may just have been being really, really careful of him, and he's ready to go.
Moreno, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he have turf toe at the end of last season?
Yeah.
Like really bad?
I don't... we're just going to start where we left off last season. They won't tell us a dang thing about what's wrong with him. He hasn't played any preseason games, and as far as I know, nobody has said anything about what really is wrong with him.
Araujo is available, though, right?
Araujo's been starting and playing, and he's in the starting lineup for sure.
And number 7's in.
And Martinez is ready to go. And
all right.
Is ready.
So those are two bright spots.
But that's not a full side at all, right? So
that's like a 65-70%.
No Sosa, spot. No Moreno, no Almada, let's say. Mm-hmm. Those are presumably the 3 starting center midfielders. Yeah, I don't know.
You think we can beat Kansas City with that lineup?
And what about formation? Right. So what's the formation if everybody's available? What is your starting lineup if everybody is available?
My starting lineup is different. What do I think it'll be? What do I want it to be?
What do you want it to be?
I want it to be Guzan in the back, Hernandez in the right back, Franco and Miles in the center, Gutman on the left, fullback.
So you want to play 4 in the back?
4 in the back.
And in fairness, so we were critical all last year, dear podcast listener, of Pineda sticking with the 5 in the back. He said he didn't want to change stuff, blah, 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 blah. We said this team is built for 4 in the back. The entire preseason, he's had 4 in the back. So our expectation is that we were right. He was wrong.
Yeah. So in front of the 4, we've got Sosa is my desired,
automatic
guy, automatic. And then slightly in front of him, adjusted on one side or the other, you've got Rossetto.
Yep.
And then attacking center midfielder Almada coming up the gut. Out on the right as an inverted winger, you got Araujo. Out on the left, you got inverted winger Moreno. If you want to flop them back and forth, I'm cool with that too.
Yep.
And then you got Joseph up front.
Yep. So the only I agree with that entire starting lineup. The only question is whether Rossetto and Sosa are both defensive midfielders, or if Sosa is the only defensive midfielder, and really Thiago Almada and Rossetto are both attacking midfielders.
Yeah,
I think Sosa has been shown that he can do it. We talked about last year about him being on an island by trying to do it by himself, and he can almost do it by himself. He can't do it by himself, but that I don't expect him to do it by himself. If Rossetto and Almada are there, they should be helping, but he can still be the only truly defensive guy.
Yeah. Now, one of the criticisms of Rossetto that I think was fair, and I don't know if it's fair that he can't do it, but I thought he was connecting really well with some of the players around him. But he was making a lot of small passes by connecting with players and, little 10-foot passes, ticky-tacky stuff. Do you think he's got the eye for the right critical pass forward to be dangerous? Because I haven't seen that. And I thought that was a fair criticism by some of the comments online that I was reading.
Well, I'm going to say yes. And because I think he's better than we think he is. I think he really has taken a long time to settle.
Yeah.
And we only truly saw the beginnings of who he is at the very end of last year. But that being said, on this team, right, if he's constantly just putting balls into Araujo, Moreno, and Almada's feet, is that a problem?
No. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, why? What's the problem?
He doesn't need to force the issue, but he does. But anybody in that position, when you look up, and if you can slot a Moreno, or you can slot particularly an Araujo, who's got, insane speed, and if you can see the space behind the defense.
To be honest, I think that people want him to do this, and that all he's going to do is get in the way of those guys, right? If he is literally just a Nogby type player, right, and is not really a defensive midfielder, not really attacking midfielder, but a guy who's good at splitting the lines, getting the ball from Sosa, being a little, give and go, that little outlet. Yeah. And his job is to get the ball to Araujo, Moreno, and Almada in good spaces. That's golden. That's all we need from him.
Okay. I like it. I want to disagree, but I've thought a lot about that.
I think people are overthinking that, right? They want him to be this and that or whatever. Like, we don't need that role. If he is truly, an attacking kind of player, if he is Miguel Morón, then there's no spot for him, because if he's Miguel Morón, he takes Almada's spot, and Almada shouldn't be playing. But you need a defensive midfielder. You need a balance, right? And if you're going to have Almada, Araujo, Moreno, who are going to be attacking a lot anyway, and who all can score goals, right? Why do you need another guy who's doing that?
Yeah, I'm with you. All right.